Saint Seiya Overture starts with a lovely rotating angle of an unknown character in a shattered dimension. Well, actually, the story really starts with a short prequel by Kurumada himself. You would already know that if I was not lazy and I was a smart YouTuber that did one of those iceberg videos when they were popping. Hopefully the Saint Seiya community gets a better English tuber, but for now, the options are limited, so enjoy your stay. We have our hero, Seiya, in the vegetative state that in our time right now he has been in for a decade. But don't worry, this movie ignores the meme and actually has Seiya doing stuff. So these three losers in skirts brick it really hard at hitting a guy in a wheelchair. They sense the presence of Athena, and in anger break her windows. She then takes her sweet ass time walking towards Seiya. I'm guessing she really enjoyed punking out these three would-be assassins. We learn that those three assassins are angels of Artemis, Athena's sister and goddess of the moon. You know, something is odd, and it can be odd in Next Dimension as well, in that it's weird the gods are so upset at Seiya. He killed one god, same as the others, and Athena herself had the bigger hand in killing Hades, yet Seiya is the most punished. Okay, to be fair, technically this was before Inferno Arc, but still, feel like they're doing our hero a bit dirty here. In an effort to appease her sister, she gives herself and her staff up for their forgiveness. It cuts to Seiya having a flashback to getting stabbed by Hades, who, for some reason, looks like Spawn in Deadpool's colors. But hey, in something it has of Next Dimension, at least Seiya is active. You then quickly learn the fates of the gods. They are eternally punished for, I guess, helping Athena stop Hades from covering their own world in darkness, something that even the god of the sea helped them stop. Man, these globs that look like the inside of the D-Reaper's nutsack sure are assholes. By the way, you better buckle up for more Digimon references. Also, if you watch this movie, get used to seeing endless water effects and blood dripping in said water. Have a mental conversation on the fate of mankind, or at least that's the excuse they would give to have a still screen of two characters back and forth in a movie for 17 seconds. Seiya wakes up to Mama Mary's comfort. Kinda funny they acknowledge Seiya's simping of Athena early on. He adorably tries to deny it though. Boy, this movie loves marrying little Asian butt, don't they? So much so, I almost did a butt counter. At Marin's request, Seiya wobbles his way to the sanctuary that now looks like a mix of an iPhone store and Eden from Digimon Cyber Sleuth. He meets option 2 on the fandom ship list, and speaking of simps, Jabu, with the sneak attack that barely manages to even stagger a lumbering Seiya. Trying to impress their girl boss, they again try to knock Seiya down, who, luckily for them, is too weak to throw a punch. Well, if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. Don't worry, this is how they flirt. Seiya finds it hot. She eventually Kylo Rens him down off the sanctuary into a cavern where his cloth just so happens to be. Let's just go with Cheyenne knowing exactly where it was, and that was her plan all along. Hey, don't worry, this is not all the Seiya and Saori show. Here is Shun just hanging around. 24 minutes in, we have our first real fight scene. They have defeated gods one after another, so of course his messengers will have better luck. I bet this guy went after who he heard was the weakest. Continuing with the golden rule of Shun being utterly helpless in movies until his big brother shows up. And oh boy, those bird noises are weak. How do you go from this to this? Even the entrance music is weak. Come on guys, you had an easy job to do here. They get tossed around in some water until the water reminds them how warm and tender Athena is. I hope Seiya doesn't overhear that. Also, a statue made of the gold saints reminds them of, hey, all you do is beat up guys way stronger than yourself, and this guy is just another one. And with that one team attack, they catch the angel off guard and Ikki one-shots him. Seiya continually down whatever path he's going down until he comes across Hyuga and Shiryu getting washed by an angel. Wow, Hyuga, you gonna just let this nigga with a ridiculous haircut due to you, how you did that Corona Saint and Crimson you hold this L while you're down there. I'm sorry, look at this dude's hair. It looks like he had really long hair on one side but was badly edited out with GIMP eraser tool. Looks like something on my thumbnails. 36 minutes in, Seiya uses his iconic technique Pegasus Raishukan. It does as well as you might expect, maybe even worse. Bad Haircut uses his attack and Ronaldo's Seiya. That's a good soccer player's name, right guys? Ronaldo? Let me know in the comments. It better be, because his own attack destroys his own armor. Like, he might as well never had it on at this point. Now lucky for Seiya, Hyuga ignored my advice and did not hold that L, and honestly, to me, had the best scene in terms of excitement and choreography so far. Anyway, they give themselves some prep talk about being saints, and Seiya moves on.
Deseo a un ángel.
God damn. Now, you know something was going to happen by the way he was talking that ish, but honestly, homie had the most brutal and funniest stalled death of all time. He just spontaneously combusts. It's hilarious. Back to Seiya and his scroll. He soon finds another angel, though this one calls himself the Angel of Artemis, so I guess he's Artemis's version of Seiya. They continue to talk about Seiya giving up and forgetting about Athena. They play around in the sand a little bit. Seiya starts to get overwhelmed, but here comes Mama Marin to the rescue. She bring more butt shots? Of course. What do you think this is? It's slowly revealed via having the same bell that they are related. It's not really brought up before this, so who cares? As Marin is about to die, Seiya dukes the angel in the face, but in return, he gets blasted out of the desert, and Marin and homeboy just kinda move on. How emotional. Seiya again moves forward and rematches the angel. His name is Icarus, by the way. Movie's starting to pick up on the action. Icarus starts to smack around Seiya in places, to eventually they meet, and she tells him everything is going to be alright. And I think I see why he's so determined. Broken ribs, torn ACL, bruised kidney, torn abdominal muscle, all totally worth it for this moment. I'm not the shipping type, but Jabu would fight Goku in GodCloth wielding Infinity Gauntlet to be in Seiya's shoes right now. The moment won't last because the evil music starts to kick in and Athena says she's going to kill him. She then pierces through Seiya with her staff, and she carries Seiya somewhere. And of course, it's revealed Athena has no plans of giving up and letting go of humanity. Round 3 for Seiya and Icarus, while Athena faces her sister. And can it be? Yes guys, gods in the Saint Seiya universe destroys worlds in the same way overpowered Digimon do. It's kinda perfect. Another perfect thing is Athena and Artemis having a philosophical battle of human worth and will, while Seiya and Icarus are just beating the crap out of each other. Eventually, Seiya defeats Icarus, just in time for Marin to show up and feel sad. Again, who cares about any of this? Just give me some more butt shots. Icarus gets up, inspired by Seiya, so he decides he wants to simp for Athena now, and take her arrow. Seiya, getting tired of all this god talk, he goes for Artemis' head, and everything goes red, and you hear a voice. You know it's finally time. We're to the part that everybody actually remembers, and at least 6% of the reason why people say this is a good movie at all. Apollo. Yes, that voice. That sexy, sexy voice. This feels like a typical Greek family reunion to me. Seiya still doesn't care about any of this. As long as you mess with Athena, you get Comet Fist. Challenging the gods with your waifu and mother figure nearby. What he said. The heck? Was Cheyenne just sitting there the entire time? She's lucky I watched this movie after I did my waifu list. Then suddenly they're naked. I'm guessing by symbol he means their butts. Anyway, Seiya does his thing, raises his power to infinity to challenge the gods. And the movie ends with a question of what happens when humans surpass the gods. And in a post-credit scene, you see Seiya in a butt-ugly version of the bronze cloth, and he puts a cut on the face of Apollo to his surprise. End movie. Okay, my opinions. Well, start with the positives. Sometimes the camera work and angles do well. The music was decent. There is a level of self-awareness in the writing, like having Shun have a moment where he helps his brother. There were some generally good moments in action and atmosphere here and there. Icarus having a more selfish and independent goal of wanting to fight a god killer and possibly come one is a bit fresh. But overall, this is really not a good movie. The first half was kind of a drag. It's known for having bad pacing, but it was honestly worse than I even remembered. Everyone just moves so slow. I think some fans like it because the nature of it feels different, but it's very hollow. Now listen, I don't really know much about movies, so talking a bit up my ass here, but I can really tell when you are just doing stuff for the sake of doing it. The cinematography overall just did not help what was going on, which really sucks because overall the action is really boring and uninspired. Next thing might be more of a me thing in my purest nature, but I hate the designs. The angels with the cupid wings, armor that looks like something you would not see in Saint Seiya and can barely even tell it's armor and not just guys in dresses. And unlike pretty much everywhere in the series, the armor here punctures instead of cracks. A nitpick, but it caught my attention, and my unpopular opinion about the bronze armor, yeah, it looks like something out of a Burger King toy. The problem this film has, again, I already went over the background of this movie. I'll link to that in the video and why it flopped overall, but it feels like they had the core ideas done and the way they wanted it to look, but how to get there and the dialogue were the very last thing on the table. Ideas had to be cut 4 times, which we know was the problem here. If I were to compare this movie to any movie, it would be Broly's Second Coming, and that we all know the iconic ending, but everything else is not worth remembering. By the way, could you tell that the ending was reworked a ton? From my research, what the ending was supposed to be, due to the crimes of humanity having performed terrible acts against the gods, Apollo was going to unleash the worst, most destructive, soul-breaking thing in the Omniverse. Modern day feminism. No, honestly, I could not find for certain what really happened, only that there were a lot of rewrites towards the ending. But people generally say after seeing humanity's will, Apollo resets the universe, and the Omega timeline for the anime goes on from here. But honestly, I don't know or even really care that much. If I were to give a score, again, if you like the movie, more power to you, but for me, at best, it's a 6 out of 10. What I think may have helped this movie if it was longer and used Kurumada's idea, or it was a short special, removing the angels besides Icarus, gives slightly more detail early on about Icarus and Marin's relationship, then have the ending with Apollo. But tell me your thoughts in the comments. What did you think of this video? Should I do more like these? They take forever but are really fun. Anyway, please remember to like, sub, and hit the bell. Later.